Thank you all so much for joining today. My name is Kristen McKnight. I work here at WGU and our Career and Professional Development team. I work in the group for employer engagement, which means that we work with awesome companies like WGU who are interested in recruiting WGU students and graduates. So today's session is actually the finale of our April Career Quest, where we've had a bunch of different employers join us for various events throughout the month. So if you've missed those sessions, you can watch some recordings on YouTube if you're interested, but we will be having more career quests in the future. And we are so excited to have WGU here today to talk about career opportunities. I know you go to school here and you love your experience here and you want to stay and work here. So all that being said, I'm going to toss it on over to Corey, who can introduce herself and get the presentation going.
Can't hear you, Corey.
Corey, you're muted.
My apologies. Thank you so much, Kristen, for the introduction. I am Corey Cude, and I am joining you from my grandmother's living room in Moab, Utah, so please forgive the background. I am in talent acquisition here at WGU, and joining me today is Jared Schiller, who is my colleague within talent acquisition. And we also have a special guest with us, Tyson Green, who is going to share with us a little bit later in the presentation. To kick us off today, our goal is really to provide you with some insights about working at Western Governors University at WGU. Of course, everyone has their own experiences and stories. And we would love to be able to capture all of those and be able to tell all of the wonderful stories that folks have to tell about working here at WGU. But unfortunately, we don't have time for that today. So we brought Tyson along with us today to help share, his story about, his student journey here at WGU and what it's like to work at Western Governors University. And we will have some time for some Q&A. At the end, we'll be able to answer all of your burning questions. But with that, I would like to first kick us off by sharing a 1-minute video from our president, Scott Pulsifer, and then we will jump into our presentation for you today. Jared, if you want to get that queued up for us, let us.
I'm Scott Pulsifer, president of Western Governors University. As you consider joining our team, there are many things you'll want to learn before you make your decision, but there's one thing that's most important. WGU is a mission-driven organization. We exist to change lives for the better by creating pathways to opportunity. Every day and in everything we do, we are focused on students. To us, this focus means that we are actively working to develop innovative programs, systems, and technologies that will enable us to positively impact not just hundreds of thousands, but millions of individuals. What does this mean to our employees? It means that working at WGU is not just a job, it's a career with a purpose. Whether you're a faculty member, a software developer, or a leader, the focus is the same: making opportunity work for everyone by expanding access and improving quality in higher education. If you are searching for a purpose-driven career and an opportunity to work with an innovative, dedicated team, WGU is the right place for you. Thank you for taking the time to consider Western Governors University.
Thank you, Jared. As Scott mentioned, we are a mission-driven university. And one of the things that we really like to pride ourselves upon is the fact that we are changing lives for the better. We create pathways to opportunity. And our vision is to be the most innovative, student-centric university. And one of the things that I really learned as I joined my journey here at WGU as an employee about 8 years ago was I started on my very first day here at the university, and everyone was just so kind and so helpful and so eager to help me feel comfortable, feel welcomed, and to feel confident about being successful here at the university. And I was just talking with someone earlier today about this and how it took me about 2 years to really honestly settle into this organization and truly understand the mission of every single individual here is really to help impact and change the lives of our students. And, I rest easy knowing that what I'm doing every single day is paying off. I'm changing lives for individuals. In talent acquisition, we have a really, um, you know, just gift of being able to bring individuals into the university who share the same passion, who share the same vision that we do, and knowing that they are going to be student facing to our students in roles such as mentors, or just even the back end, where there is a little bit of a separation from what they do to how it impacts the student. But every single individual here is changing lives for the better. One of the things that really stands out about WGU is our culture. And we stand by our cultural beliefs here at Western Governors University. It is something that is very important to us. And our culture is broad. We have our overarching culture as a university, and then you will find that there's unique cultures within our university as well too. And that's at the team level, right? So your individual teams that you work with on a day-to-day basis is really going to have a look and feel of its own culture as well. So it is really truly a great place to work. We have great values here. Our cultural beliefs guide us with that. We have 130,000 students plus currently, and with 7,500 employees, it's almost difficult to visualize what that community is going to feel like for you. But you have the ability to build that sense of community and camaraderie within your own teams. And, we rely heavily on technology. We are, a mostly virtual environment. The vast majority of our individuals do work remotely. And we've really perfected that. And we really do have an art to that. And again, I had this conversation with someone today about how we've really been able to perfect that art of building culture, even if you're not face to face with your coworkers and individuals that you work with, on a day-to-day basis. We still are able to capture that. And I'll add to that, our core beliefs are really, within the individual. And so, it's really our foundation for success is really relying on our cultural beliefs, and you'll see them up here. And we use it in our nomenclature, we use it in our every single day language, and it just really helps us to achieve our mission and our values. One of the other things that I really want to touch on is our diversity here at WGU. And we are absolutely committed to promoting inclusion, respecting the differences of others, equal opportunity, and we endeavor to be the world's most inclusive university. And that is within our student demographics, our employee demographics. We are striving to be the most inclusive university. We believe in the power of education here. We believe in the value of expanding access and opportunity to everyone. And our goal is really to create an environment where students, faculty, and staff all feel comfortable and safe to do their best work here. And having opportunities like education or coming from WGU, being a student, having that student journey, and be able to apply that here at the university. We have employee resource groups. These are voluntary. These are created by our employees. It's open to all employees. But we have, just for an example, we have our Ebony Owls. We have our Indigenous at WGU, our Latinx Owls, Open Minds for Wellness, for example, Owl Parents, Pan-Asian Owls, Pride Owls, Silver Owls, Solo Owls. We could go on and on. We have so many ERG groups available to you. And so we really pride ourselves on ensuring that we are, opening opportunities up for everyone within the university. And I'll hand the time over now to Jared, and he can talk about pathways and we'll take a deeper dive into some of the roles that we have at the university.
Yeah, thank you, Corey. It's a pleasure to get to spend a little time with everyone. My name is Jared Schiller. As Corey shared, I am her counterpart, so I'm one of the other managers in talent acquisition. Just a little bit about my story. I've been here with the university for about 6.5 years. Prior to coming to WGU, I've been in talent acquisition most of my career, but I did have a privilege of working to develop a nursing school in a prior life. And while in that role, we were trying to really be innovative with our organization. We had a lot of incorporation of technology into what we were doing. But as we built this out, WGU was coming of age, and it just circumstantially, we had an individual on our executive team that was part of the team that developed WGU. And this gentleman would always ask me, Jared, WGU is doing it this way. Why aren't we? And that got me very curious about this organization, because everything I was trying to do with my school, WGU was doing it better, bigger, at scale. So, for me, it was, if you can't beat them, join them. And here I am. And it's been a wonderful 6.5 years. And as Corey articulated, this is a very, very unique environment. I would say that, we are unlike most other organizations in higher education. It tends to be a little more of a corporate type environment that we have here. We don't have a lot of the stifling traditionalism that I think can oftentimes be found in higher education. And we are a far, far more innovative environment. Corey talked a little bit about the integration of technology into what we do. In many ways, WGU is almost like a tech company with a very strong educational focus. And we use those technologies to create efficiencies and to create augmented experiences for students such that they can gain more out of that educational pathway. So as Corey was talking about, I'm going to speak a little bit about the multitude of pathways that you can take here at WGU. So one of the nice things about this organization is that we pride ourselves really in posting positions at all levels. So it doesn't matter if really you're coming out of school looking for that first opportunity, that entry-level role that'll kind of get you a foot in the door so you can build a career here at WGU. But we also have many individuals that, maybe you're looking to be doing something a little bit different. Maybe you want to take a slight pivot in your career and find something that has interested you for a long period of time that you're interested in exploring. So we've got a variety of pathways available and jobs available, no matter kind of where you're at in your career. The other really attractive thing here at WGU, and I'm very fortunate that I get to talk about this, is the wonderful benefit package that we have here at WGU. So as you can see, we have a comprehensive benefit program that includes things like health, financial protection, well-being, obviously your compensation, as well as some other additional benefits. I'll dig into these just a little bit. So with the health plan, as you can see, we have medical, dental, and prescription drug coverage here. Now with the health plans, one of the really things I love about WGU is that we give our employees options here. So unlike many organizations where you just have, here's your health plan, that is it, we have a couple options that you can choose from depending on the needs of you and your family. So we have both a low deductible plan, which is pretty much traditional health coverage, which has lower deductibles, but you're going to pay slightly higher premiums. And then we also have a high deductible plan that is married with a health savings account. And for those that are familiar with those plans, it's got a higher deductible, but your premiums are a little bit lower, and you're usually funding that through a health savings account. Now, at WGU, we have both the HSA, the health savings account, as well as the FSA, the flexible savings account, available to employees. Now, if you select the high deductible option with the HSA, there is a match with the HSA. So for an individual, it's going to be $1,000 per year. Now, if you have a family, that goes up to $2,000 a year. One of the other really great things about the health coverage is that here at WGU, our provider will give you 100% coverage for in-network preventative care. So those routine physician visits and tests and things like that that are regular preventative care would be covered. With the dental plan, similar to the health plan, there's a couple of different options. So you've got the DPPO, which is a PPO version of the plan, and then there's a dental HMO, which is an HMO version of that plan as well. And then in addition, we have vision benefits available, and the vision benefits are through IMED. Now, in addition to that, as you can see from the list here, we also have some well-being programs. So there's a well-being platform that we use here called Sonic Boom. And with Sonic Boom, you get incentives. So as an example, if you're trying to, be more active in your lifestyle and you're exercising more and things like that, we'll give you points towards that. And those points can be used to, number one, earn up to $750 in additional funds going into the HSA. But there's also other incentives that you can use by, again, just being healthier. One of my favorite benefits that we have is the retirement plan. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Now, here at WGU, as hopefully we're all familiar with, we are a not-for-profit university. So instead of a 401k, here at WGU, it's going to be a 403b, it's called. But here's really the wonderful thing about this coverage is that with our retirement plan, right out of the gates, WGU will contribute 3% of your gross salary into that plan. Now, there's nothing you have to do to qualify for that other than being an employee of WGU. Now, if you, as an employee, are willing to put money in that plan, then we will match dollar for dollar up to an additional 3%. So you've got your initial 3% that, again, just for being an employee of the university. And then again, if you as an employer are willing to put in 3%, WGU will come back with a 3% match. So including your 3% in that, you're going to be having a 9% annually. And the best part of that is that vests after 4 years. So you're completely vested in that in 4 years. As you can see, we also have some additional benefits that are available. So we've got one of the new additions has been counseling resources and mental health services available to employees. But we also have things like PerkSpot, which is a discount store that you can go into. And if you're interested in buying, as an example, a new TV or a MacBook or something like that, you can get special discounted pricing on those things through WGU. In addition to all of those wonderful benefits, we also have paid time and vacations here at WGU. So again, you're working for a university, so one of the nice things about that is we do have 11 holidays that we observe annually, and that includes things like Christmas and Thanksgiving, but also President's Day. We have Juneteenth off as of a few years ago, so some really nice holidays that we observe there. And then we've also got the sick and the vacation time. Now, as an employee here at WGU, you're going to earn that sick and vacation time every paycheck that you work here. So it's not something that's granted initially. You earn those vacation and sick days. Now, the sick days are going to accrue and they will cap out at 6 days per year. Now, the vacation days depends on your tenure here. So if you're less than a year at WGU, you're going to have 10 days off, and then it goes up by a few days every year. So in year one, that goes up to 13 days, year two, 15, then 18 days, and then that caps at 20 days off. And again, just a reminder, you're earning those hours and accruing those hours every paycheck. And then last but not least, probably one of my very favorite benefits here is the fact that if you're interested as an employee in continuing your education, we have a wonderful tuition discount that's available to you as an employee, and that is 75% off. Again, what we already know is very low tuition here at WGU. Now, that is for you as an employee. So if you have immediate family, and we define immediate family as, spouse, parents, step-parents, siblings, for those individuals, we will give them a discount of up to 50%. So again, a really, really wonderful benefit and something that many of us here, including myself, take advantage of. So with that, I want to also talk about the types of roles that we serve here at WGU. So as Corey was alluding to, we both have corporate roles here, And these are our roles that, keep the business going. This is areas like finance and legal and marketing and people and talent like myself and enrollment and program development. There's a huge infrastructure of positions that help support what goes on with our students here at WGU. But if you're interested in working with students, we have a lot of those roles available as well. So our student supporting roles are typically surrounding our faculty positions. Now, as students here of WGU, most of you are familiar with this, but we have a triad, if you will, in our faculty model. So you've got program mentors who are kind of those support system, that resource that's going to stay with you from the beginning of the journey all the way through graduation. You've got course instruction, which are our subject matter experts that are there to help students with specific questions around course material and subject matter. And then you've got those behind the scenes evaluators that are absolutely integral to this model because they are the individuals doing the grading and the assessments of our students. Now, again, they're not student facing, but as you can appreciate, they serve an incredibly important role here at WGU as they're the ones, again, doing all of the grading of assessments that come in from students. So again, just know that, regardless of, your area of expertise, chances are there's a role here at WGU that likely includes those skills and competencies. So with that, as Corey articulated, we've got a guest here named Tyson Green. Tyson is a talent acquisition partner, but he's also a student here at WGU. And so Tyson's going to take a few minutes and tell us a little bit about his story and his experience as a student. So I'm going to turn the time over to you, Tyson.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Well, hello, everybody. I am Tyson Green. I am a lead technical talent acquisition partner here. And I started my journey here at WGU about 5 years ago. Corey actually hired me as a contract recruiter. I was only supposed to be here for a few months and had the opportunity to come on permanent. And through that journey and through learning, with many opportunities for professional development here at WGU, I had the opportunity to become a senior talent acquisition partner, and then a senior technical talent acquisition partner, and now a lead. And so just to kind of go back to Jared's point that there are many pathways to move up and around and have different opportunities here at WGU as an employee. So I've definitely reaped the benefits of that for sure. And it's been much appreciated. But through my time here at WGU as an employee, it's been so incredible because, well, oftentimes during my interviews with folks, I often get asked kind of what my favorite part of working at WGU is, and I always have the same answer. I always say two things. One, it's the people. I have a lot of opportunity to work with many different teams, and I've never had a bad experience. Every single team has been so gracious and helpful and willing to partner and explain weird positions I've never heard of so that I can help find great talent for them. So number one is the people, and then two is our strong culture. There's a lot of places out there that have a lot of great things to say, and there's not a lot of action behind them. And I've found the complete opposite here at WGU. I've really enjoyed the dedication to our leadership principles and our cultural beliefs because they're so important. We don't just say we're student obsessed, we're actually student obsessed, and you can see the real action behind that. And I've just always appreciated that. Even as someone who doesn't have direct student interaction, I can see the impact of my work on many teams and helping them support students, which is amazing. And through working here and talking with a lot of alumni who have applied to positions, I started getting the itch to continue my education. I hadn't been in school for probably 15 years, so that was a little intimidating for sure. I thought, what if I fail, or what if I do awful and don't finish again for the second time around? And I just sort of dove in, and I think part of the reason for my success was was our faculty, mainly our program mentors, but everybody else, of course. But my program mentor was incredible, and I didn't need a lot of motivation necessarily because I wanted to get finished with my degree as soon as possible, but she helped me be confident in that I could actually do the work and get it done and kind of meet my goals for my degree program. And so now I've graduated with my bachelor's degree and hopefully starting a master's soon, if I can again gain up that courage. But yeah, it's been incredible, both as a student and interacting on that side of things and seeing how all that works from a student's perspective has definitely helped inform how I look for candidates in hiring program mentors or instructors. I think it's all been super helpful from my perspective, and yeah, so that's my story. Thanks for having me. I don't know what else to say, but
No, that's
appreciate it.
great. Thank you, Tyson. We greatly appreciate you taking a moment to share a little bit about your journey. So let me get the presentation back up here and we'll continue on. So one of the things that we were going to do today was highlight one of the positions that we support. So we're going to talk a little bit about the program mentor role. Corey. Oh, I think you're muted again.
Muted again. Thanks, Jared. So our program mentors here at WGU, we really wanted to spotlight one role in this information session. We'll dive into a couple of other positions that we do offer here at WGU. But being that you are either former students here at WGU or current students here at WGU, it is very likely that you interact frequently with your program mentor. So let's explore what program mentors are. So who are our program mentors? Why are they important to our student success? And what kind of support do they provide? And one of the things that I will kind of dive into first and foremost is really their academic guidance. As Tyson kind of spoke about, right? You really didn't need that motivation, but some students really do. Some students need that motivation. But really our mentors are, having individualized conversations with students, but also coming up with individualized plans for those students. And they really do assist and create a personalized course schedule that aligns with your life, your goals, your needs. What are you really trying to accomplish and how quickly are you trying to accomplish those goals? They really help identify a study path and really a completion time frame. We all know we can go as quickly as we want to go, but we can't go as slowly as we want to go, right? And so those mentors really help too. And sometimes we can lose track of that and not truly realize that maybe we're falling behind, and those mentors really keep us on track. In addition to that, we really have our mentors really track our progress. So they really monitor your progress. They help you determine when you're ready to move forward, ready to take assessments, completing that coursework, identifying deadlines, and ensuring that you're on track to graduate on time. They do provide that motivation and encouragement. They are those cheerleaders, right? They are there to guide you when you're having a bad day or a bad week, or perhaps you've had some life hit you and you need to pause for a moment, right? They really offer any type of support, any type of resources that you need as a student to ensure that you're being successful, regardless if you feel like you're being successful or not. They really help you achieve miniature goals, even if you need to just take little bits and pieces at a time. And then, provide resources. I kind of dabbled into that a little bit, but they are there to provide resources to you. Various resources, the WGU, writing center, the library, tutoring services, or other, academic support, partnering you up with a course instructor when necessary. And then they also are very knowledgeable about our university resources, our policies, and moving through what type of procedures need to happen. They're very educated on all of the back end stuff as well too, so they can answer questions. Whether you have some financial aid questions or course assessments, things like that, they have resources to kind of connect you with that. And then really they are your, as you're probably very well aware, your number one contact here at the university. And we really wanted to spotlight our mentors because they truly are our most student facing positions. And I have in talent acquisition had so many incredible experiences where I have interviewed and talked with individuals who have been students and realized right away what they wanted to do with their lives. And that was to interact and change lives similar to how maybe their program mentor changed their life. And these folks are game changers. These are folks that are with you from your very first day at the university and watch you walk across that stage and graduate. What more satisfaction can you honestly feel other than a student facing position as a program mentor, if that is what you're passionate about, seeing that student walk across that stage to get their diploma. So we really wanted to highlight this role today. This is one that does have, some minimum requirements. With our faculty, as Jared kind of talked about earlier today, they are on top of their game, right? We hire individuals that have not only those soft skills and the ability to coach and mentor you as a student, but also industry experience, right? They need to be able to bring that real world experience to you as a student so that they're relatable, and that they can actually be able to kind of know and understand what it's like to kind of live in both worlds, right? Both our career as a student, balancing family, things like that. So we really do bring individuals in that can relate to our students. And Jared, if you want, we do you want to go over maybe some of the minimum requirements for our mentors, and then
Yeah, absolutely.
we can talk about some other roles.
Yeah, so for a program mentor role, and again, recognize that there are also department-specific requirements that may be added in addition to these, and I can talk a little bit about those. But in terms of our general program mentor job description, these are going to be the minimum requirements. Now, as we look at these, one thing to keep in mind, again, I've been recruiting out in industry, and I used to tell candidates, hey, if you're 80% there, go ahead and apply because, you may have some skills that employer will be looking for. Now, once you get into academics, everyone, that is a little bit of a different game because we're held to account by a variety of regulators and accrediting bodies. And so here at WGU, when we talk about minimum requirements, recognize that these truly are minimums. If you don't have these minimum requirements, you will be dispositioned and rejected from that role. So just again, know that even if you're close, you have to meet all of those. So I'll begin with credentialing. So for a program mentor, you need a master's degree as a minimum or an advanced degree and all applicable licenses and certifications for that degree program. So again, in some areas, that's a little more generic. In some other areas, you might find that that's a little more specific. So as an example, one of the colleges I support is the College of Health Professions. And if you're dealing with a nursing program, then those program mentors will also need to have a nursing degree. So I just shared that as an example. Additionally, as you can see, there's a minimum 3 years of experience providing student support, mentoring, coaching, or instruction. And again, it can be any or a combination of those. We have a demonstrated ability to work with diverse learner profiles. And again, as you can appreciate, WGU is a vast organization. We have 175-ish thousand students as of my last count. And so as you can imagine, our students come from all types of walks of life. And so as an instructor or as a mentor, it's very important that we can relate to those individuals. So obviously having that experience working with a variety of diverse student learners is going to be really helpful and advantageous in that role. And then lastly is the ability to work a student-friendly schedule. As we all know, we're called the night owls. They don't call us that for nothing, because most of our students are typically working during the day and they've got non-traditional academic schedules. And so, myself, I'm in an MBA program. I've obviously got my day job doing things like this, but I'm working on, my schoolwork after 5 o'clock and into the evening. And so the ability to have that flexibility in your schedule is going to be a requirement here at WGU because that's when our students most often need you. So again, those are some of the basics, but also recognize, as I was highlighting, there are often specific kind of departmental requirements based on the college or the specialty that that area is going to support. So again, as you're looking through jobs here at WGU, just be very mindful of, make sure you're reading through all of those minimum requirements and make sure that you meet all of those qualifications before you apply to something. And then I think I'm going to turn it over to Corey, who's going to talk about some of the other roles that we have here at WGU.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you, Jared. I appreciate that. So, of course, we're going to have all kinds of different roles open at any given time, as with any organization. Here's just a few that are currently open right now. So if you go to our website, you're going to actually be able to see these roles. They are active. Jared, if you wouldn't mind posting our careers link in the group chat. That way you can go in and explore positions that might be more in alignment with what you're looking for. If a program mentor is something you are prepared to apply for and ready to go, we are constantly hiring program mentors. And there's always an opportunity for that if that's something you want to do in the future as well too. Always look for those program mentor roles. We're going to have those available. In addition to that, if you're not quite prepared yet with a grad degree, or perhaps you have a bachelor's degree, or you're currently working on a bachelor's degree, there are other positions that don't require that level of education. So we could look at financial service assistant. We do actually have student success coaches, which are very similar to a program mentor, but these are actually supporting our academy students, and only requires a bachelor's degree. So if you possess all of the things that a mentor has, but not quite ready there with your grad degree, you could potentially look at a student success coach. We have all sorts of technical roles available. Tyson actually helps support and recruit for a lot of those roles. So if you're, interested in a technical role here at the university, again, many of those do not require that master's or grad level degree. We have all kinds of, entry level roles. We do actually have enrollment counselor roles, which are amazing. That is the first contact that our students have here at the university. Very likely you as a student or an alumni have worked with an enrollment counselor at one point in time. And so those are exciting and fun roles as well too. And as Jared shared earlier, right? We do have pathways within our university. We are always looking from within. We will always promote from within first if we have an opportunity to do that. All of our jobs are posted internally, typically before they ever go externally. And we always look from within. And so if your goal is to go from, X to Y, our leaders are there to help you, determine what path you want to take within the university. So getting your foot in the door is a thing here at WGU. And you can grow with us indefinitely. Jared and I like to kind of share examples of individuals that have, through our inception here at WGU, started as one of our very first mentors and are now our senior vice presidents, within our colleges. It can happen for anyone. And so, have a look at our current roles that are open. If there's anything that stands out to you, I encourage you to apply and work with your talent acquisition partner and let them know where your passions are. And if one role is potentially not an option for you now, we can always look at other opportunities. And Jared did actually post that in and Kristen as well too,
Yeah, we've got that
in our group chat. So feel free to have a look in there. With that, that was a lot of information to share with you all today. What questions do you have for us?
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I had a crazy headset here. Quick question. How difficult, I've applied for quite a few positions at WGU. How, is there a different process that we use to apply? Because I don't know if it's just a lot of people in the queue waiting or whatnot, but sometimes I just wonder, is it just a lot of people applying that the reason you don't get moved to the next step, or am I sending it to the wrong place, or is there a certain protocol far as, applying for positions here that we have to follow?
That's a great call out, Walt. I'm happy to take that one. So if you're an external candidate, then the appropriate way to apply is through our external job site. And again, that link is here. I would just call out a couple of things to that, Walt. Number one, as you can imagine, as a national leading university across the United States, we get a very, very large number of applicants to our roles. WGU positions tend to be very highly competitive, especially our more popular positions. So yes, you're usually competing with a variety of other applicants in those roles. My advice to you in terms of success is, number one, make sure you're reading, again, I'm just going to continue to reiterate this, make sure you're very carefully reading the job descriptions and going through those qualifications to ensure that you meet those. I think the other thing is really ensuring that those qualifications are called out in your resume. It is not uncommon in our world where we will get candidates that for whatever reason may not put all of their experience, and some of that experience can be especially relevant to the role, and they'll leave that off. So again, I'm a big believer in making it very obvious. So tailoring your resume for the job, make sure that you're looking through those minimum qualifications and you're calling those out in a very obvious way within the resume. And again, make sure that you're putting all of those unique competencies and skills that you have on there. And I think secondly to that is, if you get to a point where you're having a conversation with a talent partner, make sure you're really thorough with them. Again, we're here to help you as well as, fill our own jobs on our end. So the more we can know and understand about that candidate, the more we can, help you in terms of identifying those perfect opportunities or that next career step. So I hope that's helpful, Walt.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, also, if you are a former student or a graduate, are you considered external still as well? Or
You are.
you are? That's
Correct.
what I was
Yep.
thinking. Okay. I'm in
Yep.
the right place then. Okay.
You are.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
internal candidates would just be those that are currently employed at WGU.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
I see
Other
Matt has
questions?
his hand up.
Okay.
Do you want to come off mute?
Sure, thank you. And thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. I was just curious, what is the preferred way for external candidates to connect with the talent acquisition team? Obviously, we want to put in the application, but like if we just want to have just a quick open discussion about potential future roles, I guess you could say, what would be the best way to do that?
Yeah, really great question, Matt. You're welcome to connect with me. I will put my email address in here, and feel free to reach out and we can set up some time and have a career conversation. Or if you know the direction that you want to go in or have a good idea what pathway you want to take, I can connect you with a talent partner that works with those particular positions and we can have a conversation.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet.
Corey and I have both put our emails in there, and between the two of us, we support most of the academic jobs across WGU, so we can get you in touch with the right person if you reach out to one of us.
Thank you. Yeah, it'd specifically be a technical role, so something along the lines of a site reliability engineer, DevOps engineer, that type of role is what I would be most interested in.
Perfect. Yeah, just reach out to one Jared or myself and I can connect you with that team.
Great. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You bet.
Next hand that was up was Tanner.
Hi, I was just curious. How often do you guys recruit for cybersecurity specific roles? And if you do recruit for those, what do you typically require in terms of like education for such roles?
Yeah, great
Corey's
question.
college, so I'll give that one to her.
So from an academic perspective, it feels like we're perpetually hiring for this team. It has grown just exponentially over the last year. In fact, our cybersecurity team alone in students, as far as like numbers of students is larger than a lot of actual universities out there. So it is a very large team. So on the academic side, Kate, you're definitely going to need that grad degree to be able to either be a course instructor or a mentor. Now, as far as our corporate cybersecurity roles are concerned, that gets a little tricky for me because I don't support those areas. As far as education is concerned, Jared and Tyson maybe help me out here, but I think we just require a grad degree for that. But I do know that sorry, go ahead.
I just said I believe so. I'd have to
Yeah,
look at it.
we'd have to double check on that one. But I do know that they do require a number of certifications that come along with that degree. So either you can earn those here at WGU as a student, or I believe that you can take those on the side. And we do offer partnerships with organizations that do provide those particular certificates to get in on that side of the house. And so that would probably be a conversation that I would want that side of our house to have with you in greater detail.
Thank you. Do you know who I could reach out to kind of like keep that conversation moving?
Yeah, I put my email address in the chat. If you want to reach out to me, I will then get you connected with that side of the house.
Sounds great. Thank you.
You bet.
Sarah was the next person with their hand up.
Guys, what is the most, what kind of coaching certification do you guys see the most on people for program mentors and student life coaches?
You know what? Let me double check on that one really quick. I know that we just updated that recently. Give me 1 second. Unless Jared and Tyson, you know offhand.
I don't either, but while you're checking, I saw a question in the chat from Ashley about, it says, are there any internships for instructional design while I'm a student? I don't know of any internships, but once in a while, they're not as common as a traditional instructional designer, but sometimes we'll have associate level instructional designers or associate level positions that have lesser minimum qualifications. And so keep an eye out. As one comment was made earlier, our positions are very competitive, so they're not always posted for super lengthy periods of time. And so if you see those, jump on them and apply. But sometimes there are those lesser, those positions that have lesser minimum qualifications that you might qualify for to kind of get your foot in the door and grow into a instructional designer or senior instructional designer or whatever.
Thank you so much, Corey.
You bet. Yes, I just put that in the chat here. So ICF, ACC, PCC, or MCC, or any similar to those would be great.
And I'll just grab a couple of these in the chat as well. There's a question from Pedro about work study opportunities. Yes, I'm not sure if we have them within the IT programs. Our work study positions are posted in Handshake. So the Handshake application is where you will find those work study programs. There's another question, are the jobs remote? Depends on the role. So there was a question here that says, if I see a posting that says home office, does that mean it's located in Salt Lake City? No. Home office means that is a remote position, and that would be you working out of your home. So if it says home office, it means your home office. For positions that are in office, and we do have a few of those, it will say, you know, this position is located in Salt Lake City or another location. So as an example, in the College of Health Professions, it's a little bit unique because while all of our programs are online, as you can imagine, if you're in a nursing program, there are a lot of on-ground elements to that. So we have offices across the United States that support those roles. So as you get on the job board, you may see things like a pre-licensure clinical instructor. And these are individuals that are nurses that will go in with students into hospitals and basically shadow them and precept them and you know, help them kind of learn on the job training type skills. And so those positions you will see in various locations across the United States. We have some in Indiana, Texas. I think we even have some in Salt Lake and Idaho right now. So I guess just be mindful as you're reading through those job descriptions. The location will list the location specifically, but if it says home office, that means it's a remote role.
Couple other questions that we got. One was if there were any like flexible opportunities, and then another kind of similar, do you have part-time opportunities as well?
Yes. I'll talk about the part-time opportunities. So we do have part-time opportunities available. I'll speak to what we do have available in on the academic side of the house. All of our evaluators are part-time. We do offer part-time course instructor roles, but not necessarily part-time mentor roles. As far as flexibility is concerned, this is kind of a sticky kind of subject because there are levels of flexibility within our roles, but when you do start at WGU, the training aspect when it comes to our academic roles are pretty rigid, and that is typically for about 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the role. With that, we really have to kind of stick to a schedule when it comes to onboarding and training. After that, there are roles where you can work with your leader and find solutions and find roles that may be flexible for you. But for the most part, the vast majority of our roles are going to have a set schedule. Initially, that will be set up with your leader either during the interview process or shortly after that. It is a little bit of a sticky situation. When I say flexible, it's not always as flexible as it may seem. As far as other part-time roles in the university, Jared, do you know if there are any on the corporate side that might be flexible?
I am not sure. I think that's something that, again, you just have to look on the various job postings. I will just add one other thing, though. On the academic side, one of the things that WGU has been working on is what we're calling kind of innovative faculty roles. And these are a little bit different than what we've had historically. And they're not everywhere yet, but you will see them posted in some areas, as an example, in the Leavitt School of Health. And those are adjunct positions and visiting faculty roles. So these are kind of defined periods of time. So with the adjunct positions, you're hired into basically a pool, and then these adjunct individuals are taking assignments from the pool for various instructional roles. And that's instructional roles only right now is what we're doing those in, and that's primarily in the Leavitt School of Health. We also have temporary roles where, again, especially for seasonal type positions, as you can imagine, in areas like evaluation, we have certain parts of the year where we see very high numbers of evaluation or high numbers of student inquiries. And oftentimes we'll have areas of the university that will hire temporary positions to cover kind of those peak periods. And so you may see some of those out there as well. And that's been relatively new, and we're still kind of working on disseminating a lot of those across all of the colleges. But you see a lot of them in Leavitt School of Health right now.
Awesome. And I see Debbie has their hand up. Debbie, if you want to come off mute. Debbie?
Yes, thank you. So I put it in the chat, but I wanted to ask. So I'm currently in undergrad with WGU, and I have years of working experience. I know you kind of touched on the fact that a lot of the positions require at least a master's. And I do, even though I do plan to get a master's, can you talk about more positions that are available for students that are in like undergrad?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a student success coach would be one that would be very similar to like a mentor role. That would be a possibility if you have already earned your undergrad degree. Financial aid is an option. I do know that there's some marketing roles that are available. We do have technical roles that may apply. I think let's see, I know for a fact enrollment counselors.
Enrollment counselors, yeah, that's what I was going to mention.
Yep. So there are a good selection of positions that do only require an undergrad degree.
I normally recruit in our larger program development department, and there are some positions like a course maintenance assistant who does that. They maintain some of our courses or make little corrections and things like that. I think our accessibility analysts might not have to have an advanced degree, if I'm not mistaken. So there are some. You just got to keep an eye out.
Thank you. Mr. Tyson, I just checked the Workday, the two links that were posted for the available jobs, and I did not see those positions you just mentioned available. Is there any way that I could please get in contact with you to apply to those positions?
So those aren't, we don't currently have a course maintenance assistant or accessibility analyst. I'm just saying that there are possibilities. So you'll have to keep an eye out on the job posting website or the career page to see what's available at any given time.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
No problem.
Something to be mindful of is this is sort of the end of our budget year. So as you can appreciate, we typically don't have as many positions posted, especially over the next month or so, as we typically do. So our new fiscal year will start July 1st, and it's usually subsequently after that that various departments start getting their new budgets for the new fiscal year. So especially over the next few months, you're likely to see a whole lot of additional jobs that will be posted on the job board. But again, we're just kind of through this budgetary cycle right now. So again, you can probably expect to see more of those after July 1st.
And another tip that I would like to share as well too is set up notifications within Workday. So if there's a role that you're very interested in, you can actually set up a notification to be notified when that does become available and posted on our website. As Tyson mentioned, a lot of our roles go up and come down very quickly because we do get a lot of candidate interest. So we do have to pull those down often a lot sooner than we would like to. And so it's always good to get a notification. That way you're one of the first applicants to be able to apply and be prepared to apply for that role as well, and making sure that your resume is ready to go so you can jump on that as soon as you see it pop up.
Awesome. I think we've got time for one more question, and I see Helen has their hand up. Helen, if you want to come off mute.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So it's along the lines of just I finding out more about how to set up a alert, maybe a more it I do have alerts set up on LinkedIn, and I came across a position on WGU that was quickly filled, as you guys stated. But how do I find similar? It was like for a senior director in healthcare partnerships. So I'm trying to see how can I set up for a similar role. I just skimmed real quick on LinkedIn to see if there were any before before my turn came, and I couldn't find any, but I'm trying to see how can I maybe share my resume or get in contact with someone on that team for any future opportunities that might be there. Just because I was really interested in, I think in the course of like 3 or 4 days, it was closed. So I sort of regret, not applying and having a little bit of imposter syndrome. But trying to set up myself for success in the future when that opportunity comes up again.
Yeah, Helen, that's my team, so feel free to reach out to me. I think LinkedIn's always a great resource, and just know all of our jobs here at WGU will get pushed out to a variety of job boards. So LinkedIn is one of them. They also go to like higher ed jobs among a very lengthy list of additional job boards. I love those sites, and they're great partners of ours. That being said, your best source of truth of what is actually going on here at WGU is going to be our internal job board. So when Corey's talking about setting up alerts, Helen, we have an ability to set up alerts within Workday on the WGU side. So as you go into there, I think it's called Jobs Hub, you can set up an alert for various positions. But please, I have my email address in the chat, Helen, so just send me your resume and I can get it to one of my team members, and we can reach out and have a conversation with you about what you're looking for. And again, we haven't had a lot of those senior level roles coming up in health, so they are doing some interesting things over there, and it wouldn't surprise me if we had some additional roles coming down the pike over the next few months. So again, just reach out to me with your resume. I'll have one of my team members connect with you, and we can hopefully get you into one of those next postings.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jared. I look forward to connecting with you.
Likewise.
Bye.
Thank you. And I know I said last question, but we did get a really good question in the chat that I just want to ask before we wrap up, which is what's the typical time frame between when, like, let's say a position closes and they might be contacted by a recruiter?
Yeah, that is a very great question. Typically, we like to get those reviewed as soon as possible, but if we do have a very large number of applicant interest, it does take us quite a lot of time to review each and every single one of those resumes and get back to you. So 10 days seems like, we're hitting on that threshold where you should be hearing back. But it's not unheard of to be reached out to after 10 days. So it does take a very long time for our talent partners often to get through the amount of candidates that do apply for their roles. And by the way, we do review every single one of those. So they are reviewed by a talent partner, and that does take time.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for your wonderful questions. Thank you, Corey, Jared, Tyson, for joining us today. Like I mentioned, if you had to join late, I will be sending out a copy of the recording. So you'll receive that from me tomorrow. And we really appreciate all of y'all taking the time out of your day to join us and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.